Greetings and welcome back to the Hello YouTube Estate, where we continue where we left off, preparing to make our way back into the ruins once more. Doing another short mission because still have mostly level zeros. Now, a few quick things before I start. I'm going to be covering the party less. I'm just going to mention why I'm going to be using a particular group or party. So another thing early players want to early look at is the glossary. Now most of it will have stuff that is probably very self-explanatory, but what it will also tell you is where you find certain deeds, certain elms. For example, let's look at the bust. So they're typically found in the you can see that they're found in the ruins. Whereas a deed, typically found in the Weald. So this is stuff that occurs naturally. So yeah, quick look in here, especially if you're confused about things such as blueprints, armor piercing, all that sort of thing. The other thing we'll be going through is the monsters in more detail. There's plenty of guides out here to tell you what these guys do, so if you want me to go a little more in depth with them, just add in the comments below. In any event, let's provision forward. Still avoiding the courtyard for now. We're not ready for that. No way. So, preparing for the ruins. Short journey. 12 food's usually enough. But I like 16, because I'm paranoid about the checks. Now the main things that the ruins has is places for keys, places for shovels, and places for holy water. With a little bit to do with the medicinal herbs. So a nice short journey, so I don't need to worry about that. However, you always want shovels, because there's always things blocking the path, and the stress you get from that is always not worth it. That's some holy water. That's too much. More likely to find things with keys than anything else here. Maybe just one of those. Now if you're a little more cautious and want to protect the party better, these two are still very good. Because we got the Plague Doctor, we get one for free. But I'm pretty confident I can go forward with this. I probably could have done the medium, but I don't need to shoot myself in the foot. Get food or torches, and the run becomes pretty hard. And again, the food checks always get you.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar. Now, foreign.
Yes, I am in a room. I know I can right click on my heroes, have a look at what I got. Also, if there's a skill that you have learned and you want to quickly change on the fly while you're in the dungeon, you can do so. Just not once the battle has started. So, we just need to look through the rooms to finish this. However, that's treasure. And this is the short end, so we'll go this way first. As you can see, these guys aren't very good at disarming traps. He is your main trap disarmer, although he's still nowhere near as good as the grave robber or our good friend, the highwayman. Ah. Yes, thanks game. I really need to know that. This is an example of something that takes a key. But if you have no keys, you can shovel it down. Not recommended if you have keys. And since I'll be coming back through here anyway... Actually, you're obsessed with material things. See, this is what you're going to be careful of, because... Sure, you can walk past it once, but sometimes they'll react if they walk past it twice. So we'll have a look what's in here. It's not as bad as Klepto, because she doesn't keep it, it's just...
Finding the stuff is only the first
Thank you for
test.
showing us all the gems.
Now it must be carried
This is
home.
good. Busts and deeds. And a little bit of money. That's pretty good. Not amazing treasure, but pretty good. Now, because we could see there are no enemies away to that curio, I might as well keep the light low for the slight chance of extra loot. Again, not anywhere near as important at this stage because it doesn't give you much extra, and it's a bookcase. Bookcases can give you stress, they can give you journal entries, they can also give you a positive trait. I think they can also give you a negative one though, so we'll move on for now. Let's keep the light high as we analyze our first enemy set. Kill the enemy! Yep. Thanks for letting me know. So now we have this fun lot to deal with. Alright. So let's go through these guys in order. Cultist. It's a fairly low priority target. It's got decent HP, has a bleed attack. Although, the further back they are, the worse they are. So, these guys want to be always up forward. But they're dangerous if left alone, so if you've got a low health party, you want to deal with them sooner than later. These guys are just straight out damage. They're a little more resistant, but they're still fairly low priority compared to most other creatures. Low to very low, but not that much on the very low. The Cultist Acolyte. Now, it doesn't matter where she is, she still can use most of her abilities. So, because she causes the most stress, she's kind of the one we want to deal with first. She is high to medium priority. Then we have the Bone Arbalist, the main damage of the party. These guys have a decent crit chance, a decent hit chance, and they're fairly fast. So they are medium priority. Although these priorities do change if you have a more damaged party. Or you have none of the high priorities. He's got nothing else I really want to use. Stun and forward a bit. So this lowers the effectiveness of Plague Grenade, but still useful. Now, as much as I'd like to hit the high priority target, the effectiveness of the Plague Grenade is too hard to give up. Besides, we've got our lovely lady here to see if we can get her. Now, fortunately, because we moved them into the front row, we actually could do the most powerful ability she has damage-wise. As you can see, she doesn't deal the highest amount of damage, but she does also cause a blight, and it's a higher crit ability. So we'll give her a kiss. She resisted though, so she's not already dead. Hit, bleed, extra stress. So if you kill her first, stress isn't going to be anywhere near as high of a problem. Wow, they hate her. Now here we go, Mr. I might heal a lot, or I might heal nothing. A decent heal. More than what our lovely girl can do. Still quite a lot of high damage creatures on the field, but she is fast. In fact, the fact that she'll break and went before them is pretty surprising. So I'll take this time to quickly impale her.
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
And of course the corpses. This is why you want people who can hit most rows. Got nothing better to do with her right now, so heal her.
A momentary
Ooh, a
awakening.
good heal again. This luck won't last forever though. Now, unfortunately, neither of these two are probably going to die from the Plague Grenade because of the huge damage and egg on the mod. But pretty much the turn after they're already gone. The biggest downside of this party is she's the only one that really hits the back row. Got lucky, didn't deal that much damage.
A death by inches.
Now, the big thing about these guys is, not only do they deal increased damage against marked targets, which also lowers protection if they got it. But these guys deal more damage against humanoids.
Eradicated.
These are the manhunters. Okay, not really much to do except crit heal you. Oh, sure. This creature's already dead, but he can use the stress relief, and he's too fast. So we'll just kill him.
As the fiend falls,
Faint
hope blossoms.
Unfortunately, no scout down here, so I think I'll let the light dim a bit though.
Mind that
Bad idea
such
for me.
missteps are the exception and not the rule.
Now, as the light gets dimmer, it gets a lot harder to... gets a bit harder to hit them. But right now, we're still pretty decent, and if I want to in battle, I can activate the torch. But only when it's my turn. Empty room. Well, now that I've cleared that, the torches are not going to give as much. But we're not going to come here ever again, so... some stress. Even crazier ooh, a trap. Ah, you fool.
Cruel machinations spring to life with a singular purpose.
Everyone can fail. Now, right now, who you loot it with is irrelevant. There is a point when it will be, though, and I will mention that.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in
Low level
blood.
loots, my friends. Low level loots. And a food check. It's random. There's no rhyme or reason to it. You're just hungry when you're hungry. Now, because we can actually see pretty far ahead, we're probably okay keeping the lights a little dimmer. Because of the books again, I'll just not be terribly pleased. Again, as you can see, the darkness didn't have that much effect on the loot, so the more conservative player is still better off ensuring that they still have adequate light. Oof. 2 checks already. Hello, bookshelf. Welcome. Welcome to wasting my time. Torchlight gives 25. You only really want to give yourself torch when it's below 25. Try not to rapidly click it. Otherwise you'll waste a lot of torches. In Stygian, you really cannot afford to waste torches. Maggots! That we've surprised. Oh dear. They're pretty highly resilient to disease, so if this didn't have a chance to kill outright, I wouldn't even bother. But it can kill outright.
Another one falls.
Which leaves her with a bit of a problem. Well, he definitely kills if he hits. Which apparently was too much. So as you can see, they have 40% blight resistance. Simple math. These guys are very annoying, but again, they're close to a medium priority. Simply because of the damage they deal, but they're usually not with any significantly more dangerous targets. So not so much problem. Well, if this does successfully poison, then it's already dead.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its
6%
own.
rules, I guess.
Unnerved,
Couldn't even
unbalanced.
show you that usually would. Okay. Grave nibble. That was painful. She's not even gonna have a chance to heal. She's not even gonna have a chance to heal properly.
Executed with
If he
impunity.
hit, I might have been able to avoid this, but
Back to the pit.
now if you're desperate, you can sink some of your food into healing. but it very much depends on how much of the dungeon you have left to go. Also, even being super efficient, I still didn't get much in the way of torchlight. Ooh, a map. Maps are really good if your scouts have failed. Because now you see exactly, well, most of what you need. So there's one battle all the way till this final room. So if I wanted to, I could pretty much end the dungeon at that final room. That we can see. But we may find more. Never mind. We see it's an empty room. Ooh, what fun. Again, even in the easiest settings, people can die very easily. Seen these guys before, their priority list is pretty... This is when he's at his best, when he just gets off a powerful heal and just like, well, I didn't need to worry about that. It's not even worth me curing the lead, because, well, he's already basically at full health. Stressful incantation. Now, when they do that, they also dim the light. Another reason why you want them dead quickly. Now, Pale really doesn't deal enough. Actually, it might. Now, I won't kill any of these two, but it'll pretty much guarantee the next attack should. Oh, really? You're on pixel health. Pixel health, 1 HP. 1 HP is pixel health.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Unfortunately, she went first, so you're already dead.
Slowly, gently.
Beat.
This is how life is taken.
And strike.
Confidence.
Since he's back at full health, there's no reason to try to prolong it further. If you do, they break friends.
Foolish horrors.
Now that battle was actually worth some good money.
Into the mud.
A torch. It's not very material, a torch, is it? But now we have 2 torches again, so... But we've only got curios left. So the only thing I have to worry about is the standard stress again.
Even
That's
the
why you always bring at least one shovel.
Seems bent on preventing passage.
That would have hurt a lot if I didn't. You can purify it. Oh, exactly enough holy waters finally. I say, and then immediately find another one of them. Good to know. We're going to continue. Another thing the game doesn't tell you is this left-hand corner is where you can also retreat from the dungeon or retreat from a battle. But since I completed the quest, it comes up as quest complete. Now I could go try to disarm that trap to give him less stress, but his stress is already too high that it's not really worth the effort. In fact, they're all fairly stressed. Heirlooms contained lackluster stuff, but still free. We're done.
The shifted corridors and sloped walls of our ancestry are beginning to feel familiar.
So, bit of gold, bit of stuff, not bad. Most importantly, the traits. Demonia. Believe they're possessed by demons. Strange one. And slow reflexes. Because he's a damage style, he'll usually be faster than slow, so that's bad. I am not getting good traits this run. I guess it's trying to make it a little hard for me.
She has paid dearly for her freedom.
Oh, free bonus
better
here.
Than this place.
So basically you can choose to add another shield breaker to your team without even having to go to the stagecoach. The usual level 0 and, well, they still have random traits. So she's not really that good. However, if you accidentally close that, you can open the town events again and just have that done. Now we have a whole bunch of new things open. Nomad wagon to grab
Trinkets and charms. gathered from all the forgotten corners of the earth.
Giving us rare trinkets for only the price of crests. However, crests are very important early. And even though these trinkets might look pretty nice, they're rare, you can't lose your money on it early, even if you do decrease their cost by a lot. Survivalist.
At home in wild places, she is a stalwart survivor and a strict instructor.
I'm very happy about that strict instruction, because we can learn extra camping abilities. Now, there's a whole bunch of general abilities that most people have, but each class has their own selection of so 4 abilities that they basically get that's only with them. Now, the important thing is, when you do camp, there's a chance you can be ambushed at nighttime. So, you want someone like the Vestal, who can provide sanctuary and prevent that nighttime ambush. Or Bandit Sense, which also increases your ability to surprise monsters. And etc, etc. Now, a lot of their own things will either boost them or enhance their role. So right now, we're not worried about that. We are going to the sanitarium. This is the place we want to go the most. Now, if this is a harder mode, I would say that Reynold is done. Like, Warrior of Light's great, but Kleptomaniac and the Yips, it's very hard for him to pull his weight, and you need all the money you can get. But because it's not, we can start getting rid of things that are problematic, such as Kleptomaniac. Now, it's generally a flat cost for things that... This is the flat cost that can only be changed through increasing your rank in the structure. So if I got that, that would decrease by 10%. However, if you wanted, this is where we return back to the skull. So this is only a quick 1500. This one, 5,000. So basically, if they have a negative trait you want to get rid of, you don't want to keep sending them out too soon, because it increases the chance of a trait being locked in. But right now, I'm trying to focus on curing certain people. Also, when you eventually find out what traits you love, you can lock them in for a price. Not recommended to do early, even if you get really awesome ones like Warrior of Light, that disband that Reynold always starts with. But for now, our party is pretty stressed out. And now we hit Ruins level 2, which reveals a boss. But now we can finally access everywhere else. Actually, they didn't tell me here. Either way, now all the regions are unlocked. And that's where the things come from become even more important. Got the Warrens, the Mules, and the Cove. Each one has their own tricks and challenges. I was going to focus more on certain regions first, but they're nothing I really want. And besides, when you're getting a party, you kind of want to spread their levels out. Later you want to do veterancy. When they hit level 3, they won't do green quests anymore. And when they hit level 5, they won't even do yellow quests anymore. It's red or above. Except there's a special event that allows you to do so, but it's not so easy to find. Alright, some new blood from Stagecoach. Which again might decide for me to... Interesting. So, damage support, bleed effects, buffs and reduces stress. Very good if you want to do something very long. Great roll. I have to admit, this is one of my favorite classes. She is a damager. Pure damage. However, she can also run with bleed runs, and she can also run with markers to get extra damage. But apart from that, she's just a very solid, straight-out damager. Usually best put in slot 2 or 3. This one's very much a slot 4. 3 and 4, but that's not relevant enough. And the leper. High damage, forward person, high damage frontman. They have like this damage from that executioner sword is as high as the DPS damage, is as high as most straight DPS damages get at level 1. Problem is, all his abilities are low accuracy. Purge isn't too bad, but it's very weak and it's built for knocking things back and clearing corpses. Self-buff himself, can protect himself, can make more enemies, and more importantly, he can heal himself. And he can also reduce. Let's have a look. And then finally, and one of the things it won't tell you is the Antiquarian. She has the most horrible skills in the game. A weapon that barely does anything, an attack that doesn't do much damage, a blight that doesn't do much damage, but she can aid other blighters, an ability to make someone else protect her, does give him a nice buff. The flash powder, yeah, whatever. Fortifying vapors, yeah. She cannot be used in any healing capacity. She is the I'll repair little bites and pieces. This buffs everyone. Extra dodge. Good ability. And protect me. Alright, this is the one that gets him to protect them. But instead of being extra stress, it gives them extra dodge and protection, which is straight out damage reduction. That's just it. Just straight out damage reduction. But you don't bring her along for her abilities. Or you only bring her along for her abilities, pretending her combat skills aren't her abilities. Now, her camping skills are nothing to write home about. Random supply item, not bad. 1 random trinket, not bad. Strange powders, a good support ability. And curious incantation. Take a lot of stress. I don't even know why. No, the main thing this girl gives you is the ability to find artifacts, and the ability to have more money stacks. So, good. I'll live. It usually means she won't eat at all, because she doesn't need to. At high stress. Deadly, but hates the curve. She's fine. And Fear Eldritch Flawed Release. See, these are great on non-range characters. Oh, what's that? He's all in the way. Now, he's not the greatest, but these guys meet my criteria for wanting me to increase the roster of the stagecoach.
More arrive, foolishly seeking fortune and glory in this domain of the damned.
Damned it is. Now, I could increase it again, but you only want to increase something when you're about to use it. Never before. So, 9 out of 13, I can easily put 13 people into the roster. Done.
This man understands that adversity and existence are one and the same. He will be laughing still at the end. She searches where others will not go, and sees what others will not see.
That's like your only clue to what she even does. That's it.
To those with a keen eye, Gold gleams like a dagger's point.
Of course, if you want to see all their backstories, Red Hook did release comics that pretty much show what they did before they came here. Now, we just picked up 4 people off the cart. Now, as much as I'd like to use all of them in a party, again, they're no healer. I wish she was a better healer. But she cannot main heal, even with her trinkets. Now, this is a slight problem, because I still need to use her. But that's okay. We're fine with this. Now, passively staying at the estate will lose them 5 stress. So in 4 runs, she'll be back to 0 stress. When you get people up this level, you got all the way up to 47. So this is where we start using stress relief activities, providing you don't want to upgrade something here first. Because sometimes there's just certain skills you really want to have. Fortunately, for the level 0 troops, it's fine. And right now I don't plan to upgrade anyone, so I don't need Instructor Mastery. I do have enough portraits and crests, training regimen though, and there might be things I want them to learn. And I don't want them to cost 1,000. So, since I will be using this because there are certain things I want my grave robber to know, I will be reducing the cost of skill training. Just like that. I could do it again, but where you want to save money is where you want to save money. Now, I consider the sanitarium slightly more important than the treatment ward. The sanitarium is way more important than the abbey. Simply because it gets rid of all those quirks you'll get rid of. As you can see, you have to get rid of certain traits one at a time. Now, medical slots, you're not so worried about. Unless you go to the Weald a lot, you're not too worried about diseases. The Weald or the Warrens, they are the high disease places. However, I do want cheaper cost on my removal of positive and negative quirks, because I will be doing that. However, I'll also be de-stressing some characters. So, depending on the costs, so each one costs its own. But basically, the Abbey and the Tavern both pretty much have the same prices all around. So it's basically what you want to upgrade first. Of course, you want to be a little bit flexible because there's a caretaker. Because don't really want him in the way. Now, the downside with these guys is their stress is kind of low, so it would spread me around too much to give too much of these. However, the first one of each one is stress recovery. Now I can use busts, but I kind of want to save most of them for the treatment.
Experimental techniques and tonics can overcome things a sharpened sword cannot.
So as you can see, I could spend 8 busts on this. May not be worth it yet. Still want to keep the portraits just in case I get pals there. Some of their downsides means I can't do certain activities. Or they can only do certain activities. For example, a Plague Doctor has to go to pray. Now, since he's likely to cure all of his 30 stress by praying, there is absolutely no reason to boost it. What's interesting is they have a little wordplay for each area they don't want to go. Surprisingly enough. So, he's gonna go pray. I don't need the first level. I don't want to spend enough to get to the second level. No point in me upgrading that. I'll just cop the cost. Now, again, another thing to also note is each one of these can have its own positive or negative effect. We'll get to those later. That's something for you to discover or you to look up. So it's likely he's going to get rid of most of the stress here anyway. Again, don't want to spend too many portraits, but let's ensure it.
Strong drink, a game of chance, and companionship. The rush of life.
Send him there. As you can see, the next level is reduce the treatment cost. But right now, we don't have enough heirlooms. Yeah, I think these videos are going to be a lot about management of heirlooms. Wow. But all very important in raising a Darkest Dungeon team. Because every run you do is very dependent on what you're able to get up and running and when. Lowest priorities, Nomad Wagon, and Survivalist. If you have spare things to do, it's good to go there. As you can see, it's a lot. And as much as you like to buy trinkets, you need to buy other things, such as, say, getting our friend Reynold some help, because we don't want him stealing our stuff. Kleptomania be gone. He can live with the yips. Neg 5 accuracy basically just means neg 5 accuracy. He's 5% less likely to hit a target. It's another side of the D20. He can live with that. But I'd rather not that get locked in. Now everyone you send now can't be used on the next mission. That is fine. We had no intention to. And now we have a party of new travelers ready to go. So again, because we have a pretty rat-tag party, we don't exactly want to go the long one. Ooh, that's a good early one. Am I ready to show the cove? Sure, why not? You don't hate the cove, right? No, you're fine. Ooh, did you hate the cove? Too. Oh. You know what? I think I could take the risk. So, clear the roster. Now, big thing about the cove. Fish scales are resistant to bleed attacks. And the majority of this guy's attacks are bleed. So, he's not the best in there. Sure, I could leave him just to sing some tunes, and then occasionally Dirk stab someone, waiting for the finale. Which is one of the main reasons why I use him, but we'll get to him later. That's why I don't want to take him to the cove. It would be nice to have an accuracy trinket by now, but guess I'll just have to live with his unwieldy attacks. This is where we start trying to get some money. Antiquarians early are great for trying to secure money. Just make sure the party around them is pretty significantly ready to fight. So now that we've selected our party, anything, any sorts we go by, whether it's by level, stress, class, or activity, we'll still keep our main party at the top. So, going in, deciding your party, then coming back to figure out what upgrades you want for them is a good idea. Again, pretty happy with these abilities. Well, let's be a little more cautious though. He hits strong, but he can miss. So, now that he's learned a 5th ability, he has to change off one of his skills. So what skill are we going to remove for it? Again, I don't want revenge early. Losing all those abilities kind of hurts. I don't think you get to negative protection, but let's not run the issue. That way, if the Vestal is having trouble healing, we don't have to worry about it. So now you're going to see how I like to run most of my people. For me, that's worth. Now, she's level 1. Because she's level 1, she can now get to level 2. Because she's a Vestal and one I'm probably going to keep, and one of the reasons why I kept as many portraits as I could, we're going to boost her to rank 2 skills.
A strict regimen is paramount if one is to master the brutal arithmetic of combat.
And now I can buff the important skills I find the most important right now. The heal, slightly more reliable, and the party heal. Still on a fever pitch edge. And because I got extra money, I could just throw it all in. I'm not too worried about my money because I'm about to go on antiquarian. And let's face it, I want to make sure that these girls stay up and running. Now, I could upgrade her weapon or armor. Right now, I don't think I can afford not to possibly take more heroes. I might need this upgrade. So again, don't take anything until you're ready to go for it. Not that matters with this, you eventually need to do these anyway. The blacksmith is useless until you upgrade them. Okay, so now that our Cove Party's set, we have all the abilities we want. Nope, except you. We'll go this set for now. Actually, no, I don't like lunch. This is how I like to set her up. She can always hit the front row, she can always hit everyone else. These two abilities she hits anywhere. These two are utility. This probably won't be utilized much at all except for rapid damage. Because she only hits 2 targets, it actually isn't much of a damage reduction. In fact, if I could boost her attack, I would. Actually, I might actually take that. Again, because we're worried about a Vestal, we'll put it on her. Mainly because the Cove does not have anything really to do with disease. In fact, it's probably the safest thing with disease. Begin! Oh jeez, that late. Now, she gives a free shovel. Think Antiquarian gives free medicinal herbs? Short run again. But again, pedantic about the check. Now, the good thing about the free shovel is that I can put more into shovels. Because not only will you find derelicts of ships blocking the way, you'll also find certain treasure chests that you can knock off with the shovel. Medicinal herbs I don't need as much. Low level, no need for bandages. It unlocks nothing. High level, or veteran and above, always bring bandages. Never don't. You'll see why later. But for now, not as many things to unlock in the Cove. Less chance. So a couple of things we can possibly cleanse. Never forget torches. My standard medium output is 12. But we're only doing a short mission, so again I'll go 8, even though it didn't go so well last time. And a couple of holy waters, because there are a couple of things that you can hit with holy water. Not much. In fact, it's mainly shovels. Always have full complement of shovels at the Cove. And veteran above, always bring bandages. Now this is where who loots what is really important. This is a big note to get early. But we'll get to them when we fight them.
These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out.
Unfortunately, no early scout. So it means no matter what, we need to check out this room. Hello. So, this guy is actually really bad because the fish people are eldritch. But again, we'll see how we go. She hates the folk. This would not be a party I'd normally bring here, but well, we'll show the effects of why you shouldn't. Onward. Fortunately, none of them have anything that automatically make them want to loot. This is important. Later. There could be nothing in there. Not only was there nothing in there, I literally have seen the light. I have seen... Now, there's still a chance to scout with a bit of light. It's just not as high. Unfortunately, we got no one who is really great for the code. If anything, it's the opposite. This is a team I would not advise taking to fleet. Now, Antiquarian is pointless if she doesn't try to loot everything. Well, apart from the fact that you get higher stacks of gold. Because when she searches for loot, she has a chance to find these antiques. If someone else searches for loot, they can't find the antiques. It's her special skill. So she now has to open everything. Boom. Shoveled. Wow, that made my expenditure on keys pointless. But again, you don't know you're going to get it. Each one of these is worth 500 gold, which isn't much, but it helps. Now, big thing is, these stack to 20. Like, these are the things that'll stack up. These are what will get you the money. They're major artifacts, but if you want to find extra, if you have extra room for something, oh, she got lucky. Ludomania is obsessed with cleanliness, so that was one of the things she would hit. But again, not so important. Let's put up the light so we're not facing pelagic nightmares. A room battle is a lot scarier than a hall battle. Even though I ran in the room before, but I was so close to being able to heal it off anyway that it wasn't much of an issue. In we go! Treasure room with battle. Here we go through our priority list. Stressor. Super high priority. This guy is pretty much the pelagic cleric. He will heal, he will buff, he will cause stress. These guys are worse to fight than our good friends, than our good female cultist friends. Unfortunately, so these guys are very high priority. Unfortunately, we have a drowned thrall. As our warning said earlier, thralls explode. They explode on the second turn and they're slow. However, it still does mean you don't want to kill them as fast as possible. They have not the highest amount of health, but it's significant enough. These things are super high priority. Like, these things have to die first. No excuses. They explode, they do lots of amount of damage, and if you start a run with these guys blowing up your face, you're gonna have a hard time coming back from that. Fortunately, she has nervous stab, so there's a good chance we will kill it, and it's slow as heck. But we're gonna throw a knife at it. 7 damage. So that's not going to be enough for her nervous stab to kill it, because she deals very little damage. However, it's still important to hit it, because her daggers can hit both of these creatures. So even though it's not going to die, we're still better off going for it anyway. Biggest problem is this guy might heal him. That's a huge possibility. These guys are your medium priority. In fact, they're almost medium to high. If you run a squad of 4 of them, they are the pelagic kill squad. These guys are just straight out damage. These guys are the skeletons on steroids. High damage, high crit. But they usually don't have the highest amount of health. This is where huge problems arise. But we'll see if we can get through it. He has a very high chance to actually miss this attack. But we still have to go for it, because he can't hit anything. So, striking home. Or shall I just kill it off now?
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
These guys are the lowest priority. These guys are the tanks. In fact, these guys are 0 priority. You don't even go for them. Not until they're the last enemy standing. So, he's being protected, so there's no real point attacking the pelagic group. Not that it matters, because we still gotta kill Mr. Sharp. Fortunately, she's able to get her stuff. Now, unfortunately, he's got a low chance hit, and not really going to be doing that much. So I might as well get him to heal a bit. Now, the biggest thing about these guys is they will cause a bleed. That's their standard attack. Now, healing this guy is important. However, if you stun someone who's guarding, it ditches the stun if it's a successful stun. Now, because she's boosted it up, it's now up to 110% instead of 100. So again, we got a very high chance to stun. 110 minus 25. Boom! And I get shown that it's got a high priority. This is why it's super low priority, and because it's got very high bleed resist, you don't want to try to bleed it. Not yet. Throw the dagger! It's kind of high. Oh, good dodge. Don't expect them to dodge. Don't expect them to not hit you. Most of the time, they'll hit you. Stab it to lower its HP total. Probably a slight waste, but it's not really much. Now I could just hew through them and hope for the best. Miss dodge. So this is why you got to keep a high importance on the traits, but I'll be fine. I've done worse.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy.
Now, since he's got a lot of health left, I could just pop him up. Or I could just increase his protection so he doesn't take as much damage. And now he's totally protected. The healing's at an extent where this is probably better.
Compassion is a rarity in the fever pitch of battle.
Strike! Octocestus. Resist the bleed. Now, unfortunately, she's in the wrong position for poison darts, and I can't just slip her backwards. Well, I could, I just don't think it's important enough. This guy's practically dead. Even if it's gonna take me a little. Oh, hey, no stab.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And we're done with that fight. Oh, granted
These
food.
nightmarish creatures can be felled.
Oh, I
They
should have
can
brought
be
more medicinal
beaten.
herbs. That's a high priority. Ooh, that's a mistake. Compartment, and oh, another minor antique. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am, I should say. Fish guts. Fish have this weird thing of either providing a lot of food or no food and weirdly giving gems. As you can see, this one's the latter. Now, it's another journal. Journals are if you're trying to get the best out of your runs, journals are pointless to take. Well, it's that one. That one's lore. Fortunately, we found all the medicinal herbs in the fish after cleansing it with medicinal herbs. Maybe it was just an efficient cleanse. Of course, it springs a trap
Ambushed
right
by
on the
foul
point where I
invention.
boost the torch. But that's fine. As you can see, very high stress, so you don't really want to bring these people into the cove. but we're fine. Chisel particles. Now you want to kind of have a quick look at the map and see how far you got to go, because usually there'll only be one blockage per area. So I've got 2 more areas to go through, so she's fine to knock this over the shovel. Boom!
Hacks laden with loot.
See, we're running a little low on the ability to add stuff. And now we can see how gold can go up higher than the standard. Now it's more likely she's going to find more of these than some onyx. But I don't think we'll be needing the holy water. And now we have new enemies to analyze. The snail. This guy is super low priority. It's a jobber that has a high amount of protection. It's also knowledge. These guys are slow as all heck, and usually it's not worth throwing a direct attack at them. Also, their main ability is a spray that debuffs. They're mainly there to make it harder for you to fight. So they do pretty well. And then you have the deep stings. Very high speed, and they have the possibility to cause stun and bleed. But they'll usually always go for shock first, because shock will give you a debuff. I really should use the thing. So, but again, these are medium to low priority. The Pelagic Groper will still generally deal more damage. And then we got Shaman. We all know what priority level he is. In fact, I could be in for a long ride. Fortunately, she went first. These traps here usually give you a huge round of debuff. So let's get rid of that, shall we? Like medicinal herbs can do. Now, unfortunately, she's the only one that can hit the Pelagic Shaman, so she has to go for the shot. You want him run as soon as possible. If he starts buffing people, you're in trouble. Can I kill him? 3 to 6. I could, and it's worth it to try.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Can't hit the high priority Pelagic Groper, so we'll try for the deep stinger. His accuracy is very bad. But when he hits, he makes his efforts minimal. Spear fish. Is that just a slash of the fish? He resists the debuff. Oh well. Stab! Ugh. That was very bad. Oof. She didn't budge. Spear fishing has a chance to move you. Whoa. She just did a little bit more. It's still a million the same. It's still worth the attempt, even though the damage is very sweet. It just means that I can never stab it to death. Well, probably. It's got no dodge. So it's just a straight 65% chance. Ow! She's not appreciating that. This is all about reappropriating the kills. These two need more stress relief. Not that much by the end of the run, but you never know where we're actually going. In fact, I'm just going to stand for now. You don't want to play this game for too long. If you do, they'll call reinforcements. Oh, there we go. She's now you can do it better. And now you can have your very high damage. Grave Robber Girl, finish it off.
This expedition at least promises success.
Now a little gold over. There's still another hole. So this is where you have to decide whether getting rid of one of these objects is best, or getting rid of one of your treasures is best. Normally you just say goodbye journal page. For now I'm going to keep all my... Actually no, I got way too much food. There's only going to be 2 more checks, so I might as well ditch a stack of food. And having extra food means extra healing. Of course, they can only eat full food before they get full, but as soon as you go into another battle, you're fine. Even though they're worth the same amount, the gold's going to stack better. Besides, I've already lost the stack. Let's keep the light up. If it's not a room battle, it's going to be nothing. Usually most curios come with an extra fight. It's just something you have to deal with. Again, always remember, Antiquarian loots everything. No exceptions. Alright, let's get rid of the distant worms. If I run to Carl now, I'm not going to be happy. And a trap! But she dodged! So she's fine. She is your trap finder. She is your trap. Surprised. Basically just missed a big party. Let's give it to her.
The light, the promise of
Fortunately,
safety.
she is the most dynamic fighter you're going to run into. She can hit anywhere. Unfortunately, she can't kill anything, but she might crit, so pick to the face! Minimum damage. I'm gonna give her this just in case she gets focused. There's a chance. So just oops. But 0 damage with protection. Unfortunately, a lot easier to kill. He can't act really here. But this is fine because she doesn't want to be in that room either. He'll still lose Davis. Fortunately, she still has to protect up and being stunned. It's a mistake on its part. It kind of...
The will to fight.
Oh jeez,
Forward.
she just can't get moved off. Wow. That's not bad. Strike!
Back to the pit.
Stab away. Likely he'll go for the salty cow first. Speed fishing dragon him forward. Hey-ya! Now they might do the least amount of damage, but never count them out. It's too late, she already had the buff from being stunned last round. Being stunned means you're more resistant to stun next round. Isn't Dark Stun nice? That could reduce his stress, but we're getting pretty much to the end point of the double, so we'll just reduce the stress by killing stuff.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick
Now, if you're
of
looking
the
at it at a
light?
straight gold value, that's worth 750. However, I like collecting trinkets, and neg 1 crit on a Crusader, I'll take that any day. Holy water, I'm sure. Drink the holy water. It only lasts 3 rounds, so that's 1 round gone. Oh, not quite. So we're fine. Right, next room. Ooh, don't. Mistakes were made. I've got to change party order. But it's fine. A high priority target is in row 3 anyway. Is that enough for her to get the kill? There's a chance. Pixel health. I have to waste all my efforts on just killing this thing. And I don't kill it anyway. Well, you know, let's go for something he can hit. He could possibly one-hit kill this. So,
Annihilated.
now, sure, the Pelagic Groper is high on the priority kill list. However, this is circumstance dealing with the fact that didn't cause the spearfishing has a chance to cause the one who gets hit to be pulled. So if it does not happen on Vestal, because then she can't use my grace, which this goes. Where they are also depends on how likely the fishmen are to strike at you. The further you are at the front, the more likely you are to be attacked. Which is why generally she has ways of being able to slip back north. But it kind of missed an opportunity to put it back to where she needed. She can actually hit. I'll actually slip her back north. This is taking a lot of damage. She solely need to heal herself, and she did. You can't kill these corpses. Try. This is why having a party member that can hit any road is quite good. And it's always better for it to be damaging. You'd think hitting dead bodies would be easy, but even pelagic nightmares can still dodge. She dodges. This is what happens if you take too long to kill something. Let's be honest, this one was their fault. Well, mostly their fault. But we don't need to worry about that.
Brought low and driven into the mud.
And some food to recover. I really don't think I'll find too many more of these jades, and oh, we don't. Now, getting this party out probably would be the best idea. I'm not gonna do that. Every run, you want to try to tear as much wealth out as possible. Pretty much to the point where there is very certain times that you need to retreat from a dungeon. Oh, this is not one of them. Ooh. These are good. Once again, she loots everything. Sometimes you won't find a minor antique, sometimes you will. I don't need that food. We'll get 500 points. Kind of makes me regret throwing the other thing away, but the defender seal is still worth it. Now again, too low light's not worth. Oops. And there's nothing here. So you can see with the benefit of antiquarian,
the pungent odor abates. The things are driven back.
We all of a sudden got a lot more gold than we normally would. All these minor antiques, couple of rare antiques. Antiquarians are your money source. Get them early, use them hard. If you can. But they're not great fighters. They're not going to help you much in the darkest dungeon. They'll just help you fight in the darkest dungeon. They'll help you get to the point where you do have people who can fight in the darkest dungeon. You end up with less stress than I thought he was going to get. Again, he's got his self-healing grip. She is now level... She is still level 1. This is fine. You don't want to level up too fast. Again, this is why a balanced party is way more important than a strong party. Love interest, she'll only get laid. That's not a good one if I want to run her with an antiquarian again. Ooh, the
Awash in blood and delusion. He bears the burden of 1,000 lifetimes.
However, this is where we're going to leave it for now, after having a quick look at him. Oh my goodness, this guy is great, and I'll tell you why next episode, as we continue through the Hello YouTube Darkest Dungeon. Eventually I'm going to hit a point where I'm going to speed up most of the runs once I explain pretty much all the monsters that you're going to run into at this point, and try to cut out most of the more boring parts, which is probably me talking a lot. Anyhow, it's enough for now. Otherwise, we've got to quickly have a look. Let's quickly have a look. This tells you if anyone got stuck doing their activities. This time, I was lucky enough no one disappeared. But sometimes they don't want to stop gambling. They don't want to stop drinking. They don't want to stop praying. Anyhow, This is a Quest. The Hello YouTuber seat. Signing out. May your dungeons ever be bright as you cast away the shadow. I think that's